Welcome to Crypto Traders Club. Happy Saturday, everyone. We're going to go through the first trades that we're looking at entering very soon. One of them we're already in. First one is Near Protocol, looking for an entry around 5.2, I'm sorry, 2.53, 2.54, somewhere around there, having a 3% stop around 2.6, all the way down to 14% target profit around $2.1. The next one we just got into is Veracity. So zooming out on this chart, this looks like a pretty good bear pattern here, where we are constantly getting rejected off this line. We're in here with a about 2.5% stop loss right above the trend line. We think that we can still see some pretty significant moves to the downside. Depending on what happens with Bitcoin, we may move our target profit or take one profit here and more down in the future. I think this has some room to go to the downside on Veracity. Next one we're going to take a look at, which I think is a really good trade, is Binance. Looking for a short entry right around $332, putting a stop above, let's see, $340. And if we look out on the daily chart, we can see that we are following this trend line down and constantly seeing rejection there. So this is a pretty good opportunity to see more rejection and moves to the downside, maybe even come back down and test around $250. Moving over to Dent. This is the big picture on Dent from the daily chart. If we zoom in on the hourly, this is another good opportunity for a short, right around 0.001, and then having your stop above 0.00107, which looks about the same because the numbers are so small, but having about a 4% stop on this, seeing about a 13% profit on this trade that we're expecting. So we're just watching that one right now. Next one is Algorand. We might have mentioned this yesterday or we brought it in new today. I can't remember, but looking for a short again up at this trend line at 28 cents, 4% stop, and a 17% target profit on this one. So zooming out, let's go to the daily. This is the trend line that we're going to be playing with, looking for it to go back up and touch it and drop back down. So that's Algorand. Zilliqa, there's the bigger pattern on the daily, zooming into the hourly. We're going to wait for this one to come up to around 0.032 cents. So this one, might take us into mid to late next week. We'll see how this plays out. Again, depends what Bitcoin's going to do in the meantime up until then, but we're looking for a retest of that trend line as well right there. Next one to take a look at is Polygon. We've been mentioning this off and on throughout the week, this past week, but it's a pretty good opportunity to either take profits here or take a short opportunity with a tight stop. Zooming back out, let's take a look at the daily. Yeah, it's had a pretty good move, close to 100% without really stopping. And so we think we can come up to this trend line, get some movement to the downside before possibly going back up. Again, this really depends. Looking at the bigger picture, I'd love to see it kind of play out this wedge pattern here all the way into possibly even May, June, and then look for a really good long opportunity on Polygon. Until then, I think it might be choppy, but who knows? We'll see. Next one we'll take a look at is Decentraland. So it just broke out of this this descending channel here. If we zoom into the hourly, it's still coming up to quite a bit of resistance here. So if you're looking for taking profits or a short opportunity, I take a look around 0.82 cents about, and then get out around, or have your stop around 0.85 with a 13% or so target profit on Decentraland. I think we just moved this one up. This is Tezos. Taking a look at this, it's been trading within this channel here, looking for a short around 1.18 with a stop at 1.12, sorry, and having a 7% or so target profit on the initial target profit, all the way up to 11% at $1.04. So we're keeping our eyes on this one. This might happen in the next few hours. This is one that we added today. A couple others that we're going to just take a look at quickly. I think we may have mentioned, actually this one's new, Phantom. So Phantom's had a pretty significant run up, and now it's testing this point of resistance here. Could be another good shorting opportunity around 64 cents with a stop around 66 or 67 cents, and then could see about a 22% move to the downside around 50 cents. We've talked about Solana quite a bit recently. We're just watching this one. We'll see how this plays out into next week. We would be looking for a shorting opportunity around 26 cents, or I'm sorry, $26. Next one look at is Tron. Looking for a potential short around 0.065 cents. This is a pretty bullish pattern though, so want to be really careful with it. It could break out at this point, so you want to have a tight stop. And the better trade here is actually taking a long if it can retest this trend line to the upside. But this really depends what's happening with Bitcoin, like we said. Taking a look at Wilder World. This one's had a pretty massive move up. I think if we look at the daily, let's zoom out a bit. So it just came up to this trend line and hit rejection. And there's also resistance around 46, 47 cents around there. So if you're in this trade, consider possibly taking profits around here. And then we're going to watch this a little bit to see if it can retest this trend line for a decent shorting opportunity. And the last one of the day is Uniswap. So this is another new one we added today. So Uniswap broke through this trend line. It didn't have a major move to the upside. It wasn't pretty significant. So we're looking for a shorting opportunity around this point of resistance, around 7.75 cents, with anywhere from a 4 to 6% stop and a 22% profit. We're looking on this one. We really think it can retest this trend line back to the downside. So that's a new one we added today. Thanks everyone. Have a great Saturday.